So the method of meal prep that I did this week has just totally changed my whole perspective on meal prep. It was so simple and delicious, and I made a ton of different meals. This plan for meal prep is coming to us from another YouTuber who happens to be a chef, Brian Lagerstrom. So I'll link his original video down below. The basis of this meal prep is that you're gonna prep 7 different components, and then out of these components, you can make 8 different meals. You can probably make more than that, honestly. So what I did is I went to Brian's video and I copied and pasted all of the instructions and ingredients into ChatGPT. And I said, hey, pretty this up for me in a little list with some emojis so it's easier to follow. But like I said, I'll link his original video down below if you want to grab all of the ingredients. This was a winner, so let's jump right in. All right, so here are most of the main ingredients that I'm gonna use. I've got some ground beef, some chicken thighs. I had these in the freezer and I just thawed them out. We're gonna cook up some rice. I've got some chicken bouillon. We're gonna cook the chicken in that chicken broth. I'm trying to use up this bottle of minced garlic that I have in my fridge, so we're gonna use that today. Bucatini, the meal plan calls for spaghetti, but this is what I have on hand. Some peppers and onions. I've got 2 green peppers, 1 red pepper, a red onion, and a yellow onion. And then the meal plan list calls for broccoli rabe. I can't find that where I live, so I just got regular broccoli. So I put my chicken thighs in this Dutch oven with some cold water. I added some chicken bouillon, some salt and pepper. I'm just gonna bring this to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer and cook it for about 40 to 50 minutes until the chicken is really tender and starts shredding easily. For the rice, I'm gonna cook this in my rice cooker. So I've got 2 cups of rice in here that I washed. I added 3 cups of water and some salt, and we're just gonna turn that on the white rice setting. That usually takes about 30 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna start my water boiling for the pasta. So I've just got a big pot of water here. I'll salt it, and then when it starts boiling, we'll drop the bucatini in. Okay, so today's video is sponsored by Motivate. We're gonna make a shaker full of this together because I need some energy and focus this morning. I've been trying to cut back on buying like the individual cans of energy drinks because they're just so expensive. I have the orange burst flavor and it's delicious. Yum. What I do is I keep this shaker full of water in the fridge overnight so it gets nice and cold, and then I can just add my scoop of the Motivate Burn in the morning. They also have greens. This is the tangerine flavor. This is seriously like the best tasting greens powder I've ever tried. You know how sometimes you get greens powders and it's like you're drinking grass? This does not taste like that at all. This flavor, like I said, is tangerine, but it almost tastes like, it almost has like a vanilla-y taste to it. Like, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy when I say this, but it almost tastes like a creamsicle. I definitely need this right now because I'm on semaglutide, and yes, I'm losing weight, but sometimes I just can't eat enough during the day, like to fill all of my nutrient gaps, so this helps do that. And did you know that Motivate is a women-owned and operated small business? I think that's super cool, which is why I love supporting them. All of their products are manufactured in the US. They're non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and made with all natural ingredients. They're also third-party tested and good manufacturing practices certified. The Motivate Burn helps give you all-day energy with no jitters or crashes. It helps burn fat and boost metabolism, and it also comes in 8 delicious flavors, some of which are cherry lemonade, watermelon, and cotton candy. I know I'm gonna be ordering some of those other flavors soon when I'm almost out of this. Oh, and they also have samples on their website, so make sure you take advantage of that as well. Their greens help support gut and digestive health, and they have 2 times the nutrients of leading competitors at a fraction of the cost. They don't taste gritty at all. They come in yummy flavors like tangerine and peach, so you can get your daily dose of fruits and veggies. Even my kids would love this, I promise. Motivate has created a special 20% discount for my subscribers, so I'll have a link in the description box below. Go ahead and click the link in the description box below for a special 20% discount that my subscribers can use store-wide. If you have any questions about the products, just leave me a comment, and I hope you guys enjoy your Motivate. With this red onion, we're going to do a quick pickled red onion. So I'm just gonna slice this up, and then I've got a pot right here. So I'll just put the onion directly in there, and then I'll show you how we do the quick pickle on the stove. To the onions, I added 1 cup of water, and then we've got 1 cup of white vinegar, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and then about a teaspoon of salt. Okay, so I'm gonna combine this, bring it to a boil. As soon as the onions, or as soon as the liquid comes to a boil, we'll turn off the heat. Okay, I'm going to saute my onions and peppers. So I'm just adding a little bit of oil to this skillet, and then I'll just slice the yellow onion and the peppers and get them in the skillet. Okay, so I've got these over about medium-high heat. Once they start to cook, I'll probably turn the heat down a little bit and then just continue to saute these until they're tender. And then my onions are done. I'm just letting those cool a little bit. The chicken did come to a boil, so I turned it down to a simmer, and I'm just letting that cook. All right, so my chicken is done, and I've just been kind of letting it cool a little bit in the broth here. I'm gonna take it out and shred it up, and then I'm just finishing sauteing up my ground beef. I mistakenly grabbed a package of ground pork and a package of ground beef, which is totally fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. And I seasoned this really well with salt and pepper, so it would be nice and flavorful. My rice is done, so I'm just kind of fluffing that up and letting it cool a bit as well. For the bucatini, I just rinsed it in some cold water until it was completely cool so it didn't stick together, and then tossed it with just a little bit of oil to keep it from sticking. And I did cook this not totally to super tender. I did leave it quite al dente, as we'll be heating this back up in the meals that we make. I have this meat shredder. I haven't used it in a while. Sometimes it's not super easy to use, so we're just gonna test it out with this chicken. Oh, okay, it's working. So the problem with this particular tool, oh, that works good. Okay, so the problem with this particular tool is it has these rubber kind of like grippers on the bottom, so you do have to place it on a surface. Like I have quartz countertops. It doesn't work on my butcher block countertop. I've tried it before, but you have to have it on a surface where the rubber can grip the counter, so that as you kind of turn this around, the chicken actually shreds up. But that works well. Let me taste this. Good. You know, one thing I liked about this particular meal prep idea is that it did call for chicken thighs, which I do think for the most part, and especially if you're making shredded chicken, are gonna be more tender and juicier than chicken breasts. So I think I saw these particular chicken thighs that I froze. I want to say I got them on sale at Aldi a couple months ago, and then I just stocked up because they were on clearance and stuck them in the freezer. Okay, so we got our chicken shredded up. What I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of this broth that's left in the pot and kind of just drizzle that over the chicken so that it doesn't dry out in the refrigerator. So here are those 7 components that I prepped for all of these meals. And one thing that I didn't mention at the beginning of the video is this meal prep is designed to take 1 hour or less. And I can assure you that I timed this, and it actually took me under an hour to make. I think it took me about 50 minutes. So as you know, I have tested other chefs' 1 hour meal preps here on YouTube in my videos before, but I'm happy to say that this one was actually under 1 hour. So let me show you how I use these components to put together the meals. All right, so we're gonna make a little sushi bowl with our meal prepped ingredients, and this is like the term sushi is being used very loosely here because we're actually going to use chicken and some broccoli. But for the spicy mayo, what I did is mix together some Kewpie mayo, some sriracha, and I just drizzled a little bit of half and half in there just to make it drizzleable. You could also use water or milk if you wanted to. So to our bowl, I'm going to add some of this prepped rice. Just break it apart a little bit because we're going to nuke this in the microwave. Some of this broccoli. And then some of this shredded chicken. Just throw some wax paper on this and stick it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. And then while that's in the microwave, I'm just gonna slice up some cucumber. You could put like pickled ginger on this if you wanted to, some nori. I'm not going to because I don't have any on hand, and also I'm not a huge fan of pickled ginger, but you put whatever you want. All right, out of my cucumbers, we're gonna add some spicy mayo. I think I have some green onions in the fridge. I'll probably add some of those too. All right, here we go. Sushi. I have a hard time calling it a sushi bowl because it's just not to be with the chicken and everything, but it's still gonna be delicious. We got our chicken, broccoli, rice, green onions, cucumbers. Put whatever you want on there. Easy and super healthy meal. The next meal that I'm going to put together are these chicken fajita tacos. And so you all know, if you've watched my videos before, I like to heat my flour tortillas up in a dry skillet. It kind of not just heats them through, but toasts them a little bit on the outside. So I highly recommend trying that if you haven't before. And then once the tortillas were warmed through, I just added some of that pepper and onion mixture to my skillet, along with some of that shredded chicken, which again, this is chicken thigh meat, so it actually stays moist and delicious when you heat it back up. And then I decided to season this with a little bit of fajita seasoning that I had in my spice cabinet just to kind of bring home that taco slash fajita flavor. Heated that through in that skillet until it was hot, and then just added that to my tortillas. This would also be good with the rice in a burrito bowl if you wanted to do that. I added some shredded cheese on the top, some sour cream, and then I also added some salsa. You could add whatever you have in your fridge to these. You could add lettuce, tomato, jalapeno, really whatever you want to top them with. And then I also added just a few of those pickled red onions, and oh my gosh, these turned out so good. My mind is like kind of spinning with all kinds of different things that I can use this prepped chicken for. In fact, I think I have some more chicken thighs in the freezer that I want to do this again with this coming week, just so that my kids have quick options for quesadillas. Okay, next meal we can make out of these ingredients is a little Greek chopped salad. So I've got some cut up lettuce here. Cut up some little grape tomatoes, add those. All right, so I got the rest of my salad ingredients out. We're gonna add some of that shredded chicken. We're gonna add some of those pickled onions. I also got have some pepperoncinis here. I'm gonna add those. Cucumbers and some feta. All right, here's our Greek chopped salad. I've got some vinaigrette in the fridge that I'm gonna put on this. I might also throw some croutons in there too. I think I have a bag in the pantry, but super quick to put together. And I have not been eating many salads lately, I feel like, so this is going to be a good lunch today. So for today's lunch, what are you having for lunch today, Murphy? I'll give you a little piece of chicken, okay? We're going to put together a little, oh, I don't know why I'm saying little, like a Mediterranean chicken pasta with peppers, chicken, broccoli, and pasta. Here, you want one piece of pasta? Is it? Good boy. He's like, how do I eat that? Oh my gosh, he didn't eat it. Murphy's kind of picky sometimes. I know you like chicken. Sit. Good boy. You get it? Maybe Milo. Milo, you want to come eat the pasta? You want some chicken? Come here. Good boys get chicken, don't they? So polite. Okay, so we're gonna add some of these peppers to the pan. Peppers and onions, I guess. Some broccoli. The recipe also calls for artichokes. I don't typically keep artichokes on hand, and I mean, I'll eat them. I'll eat them. I'm not the hugest fan of them, so I'm not going to add any of those. Some garlic. Add some chicken to here. And some of these noodles. I really like this bucatini. Just kind of one thing to keep in mind if you use bucatini is that it's quite a lot thicker than regular spaghetti, so you don't really need as much for serving. And then we're just going to add a little bit of water. Some Parmesan cheese. Yes, I'm using shaky cheese because that's what I have on hand. And a squeeze of lemon juice. Let's plate up our pasta. I did add some salt and pepper to it, so obviously just season to your tastes. And then the recipe doesn't say to do this, but I like the idea of adding some feta because I think that goes well with all of these flavors. Okay, here's our Mediterranean chicken pasta. I extremely highly doubt that I'm going to be able to eat all this, but it looks good. Sorry, I took a bite and it was super hot, but I wanted to tell you, I do think this is delicious. You know what I think that would make this a little bit better also is putting a little bit of juice from like a jar of pepperoncinis into the skillet when you're stir frying the pasta. Or if you want it spicy, you could also add some crushed red pepper flake as well. Next up, we got a burrito bowl, which is one of my favorite prep meals, honestly. So I've got some rice in this bowl, some of the peppers. We're gonna add some of this beef mixture. I'll just break it apart a little bit so it heats up easier. All right, add some wax paper on this. Heat this up for a couple of minutes. Okay, so you can add whatever you want to top this. I'm gonna put a little bit of shredded cheese. Got some sour cream. Okay, add some salsa. Pickled red onion. I don't like to add too many of these, but obviously that's a personal preference. Green onions. You can add cilantro. Jalapenos, whatever you want. All right, this to me is like a perfect lunch. Actually, it's a perfect meal anytime. I'd eat this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You could also do it with tortillas if you wanted to instead of rice. The original recipe said to add a can of black beans, or like cook a can of black beans with seasoning and add that, but I think this is plenty. All right, I'm excited about this meal because I love chili crisp noodles. So I've got some chili oil, chili crunch, I guess it's called. This is the Mila brand in my skillet here. I've noticed a lot more that you can find this in the regular grocery store now. So, you know, if I can find it in my super small town, then probably you can as well. I'm gonna add some of that beef mixture to here. And I'll just let this kind of cook for a little bit until the beef heats through. All right, we're gonna add some of these noodles. All right, we're gonna add some water. Soy sauce. Okay, so I added a little bit of peanut butter to here to kind of make that noodle sauce. I'm just gonna heat this through, taste it to see if it needs anything, and then I'll put it in a bowl, probably top it with some green onions. All right, I think this might be my favorite recipe out of all of them. I love a good spicy noodle. I also love a good peanut noodle, and this is like both with the beef, and definitely put the green onions on there. Really good, really good. So there are actually an additional 2 options for meals that I did not show in this video, but if you follow Brian's meal plan, he actually made a bibimbap and then a spaghetti salsa rosa as well. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I really appreciated following this meal prep this week because I feel like it gave me a lot of inspiration and ideas of how I can create this for my own family week after week and have a meal plan. And I know a lot of people, including myself, don't always like to prep a whole meal ahead of time and then reheat it. But the way that this worked with the different components and then putting them together into different meals, this is definitely something that I am going to continue. So while not, you know, definitely an original idea, it's definitely something that I'm going to continue more of in real life and here on my channel. Don't forget to check out Motivate. I'll have that link and discount code in the description box below. And the word on the street is that we're having another recession. Super excited as an elder millennial to be going through this yet again. But if you want to see what I am not buying at the grocery store in 2025 to save money, you can click the video right here.